here, and I'm going to start this video alone, and later I'm going to invite Q to give his point of view. But mostly those who follow me on Instagram should have already know this, and if you don't follow me, what are you doing? The link is here. Don't forget to follow me because I post daily, I always update, I post a lot of stories, so yeah, self-promo. So basically, those who follow me on Instagram, you already saw that I have been to Lithuania this summer for a few weeks, and I've had a cultural shock. What? Yes, I'm Lithuanian who had a cultural shock in Lithuania. How crazy is this? So I'm not sure if it's Lithuania what has changed, or maybe it's me who have changed in Korea, but probably it's me. And now I feel like a weirdo back at home. So let's begin. Number 1. Crossing the street. When I was growing up back in Lithuania, it was natural for me that cars would just stop when you're trying to cross the street. After I moved in Korea, I realized that if there's a crossroad which doesn't have any traffic lights, you're not going to cross the street. Mara already talked about this in our previous video, which is here, but like cars wouldn't stop until you are actually like in the middle of a street, or like unless it's right for them. But in Lithuania, it's just natural for drivers to stop before you're even trying to cross the street. So back at home, when I visited this summer, I was trying to like pass faster through the street when someone stopped for me because I felt uncomfortable. I felt like I'm a burden to those drivers. In Lithuania, it's just natural to know that pedestrian first, but here in Korea, I already got used to this, like, okay, after this car passes, like the car is passing, so let's go after this car, so then we could cross the street until the next car is coming. My friends in Lithuania were like, why are you hurrying so much? People just stop, like, just don't hurry. But I still felt like I'm a burden, you know. So that was the first difference. Number 2, debit cards. Debit cards, credit cards, like paying with a card in any store. So ever since I got my first bank account and my first card, I was the only person who was ever touched my debit card, ever. Like Lithuania is not big on credit cards, so you can feel like it's a credit card, the same thing. But yeah, so I was using my debit card, like only I touched it. It's because in Lithuania, every time you pay by card, you put your PIN code every time, even if it's like €1. Usually what they would do, they would just like put the card in, and then they would turn around to put your PIN code. So they are showing like, oh, I'm not looking at your PIN code. And it was natural for me like not to give my card to anyone. But here in Korea, if it's less than $50, you don't even need to sign. So basically what you would do, you would go to a convenience store, buy something, and then if you would pay by card, you would give your card to a clerk and they would switch it for you. Even before I got my own bank account, sometimes like I would borrow Q's card and he would be like, just go and buy something, and I would be like, it's not mine, like are people going to question? But they don't even look whose name is on it. So it might be dangerous in Lithuania or in other country, but in Korea it's so natural for everyone. People are just using it and nobody's like even thinking that someone would have like a stolen card or something. But the thing is, like every time you buy something, you would immediately get a text message like you spent this amount of money. So like people couldn't really scam you, because if you would see like various transactions which you didn't do, it would be obvious. And also like these days in Lithuania, they also have wireless cards, but still you would be the only one who touches it. So they would have a wireless machine and you would just tap your card. Same as in Korea, you would tap your transportation card, but you are still the only one who touches your card. Number 3. Eating out. So I feel like Lithuania is on the same page as every other country in the world, except of like China, Korea, and some other Asian countries. But in Lithuania, when we would go to restaurants with our friends, family, like anyone, we would just usually order something we would want to eat personally, and then every person would get a separate dish and would eat that dish only. But in Korea, some restaurants, they actually just serve like those big plates, and then everyone would just dip their chopsticks, their spoons, like anything into that big plate, and they just would eat from one big thing. Or if there are different menus, for example, if we would go to like a pizza and pasta place, we would not order something like, oh, I want to eat this kind of pasta. But if it's like 2 of us, we would just order like 1 pizza and 1 pasta, and then we would share both of them. But in Lithuania, people look weird at you. So when I went to Lithuania, it was really natural for me to tell my friends, oh, why don't we order like a few dishes and just share, because this is what we do. But they were like, why? Like, I just want to eat this, so you order what you want to eat. And I feel like it's more because Koreans have this like uri culture, and when Lithuanians are more individualistic. Because I already got used to sharing the food so much, I just feel like, oh my god, that's crazy, like you don't want to share food with me? Are we not friends? Because if we're friends, I'm trying that steak you're eating, and then you can try my fish or something, you know. Oh, and also, one more thing I remembered, it's not on the list, but I remembered also, paying is also very, very different. Because in Lithuania, if you're not a couple, and even sometimes if you're a couple too, you would pay separately. It's usually Dutch pay, and in Korea, usually the oldest one or the one who gets paid the most, they would pay. And then if you would go to cafe, another person would buy coffee. And also like food and coffee have kind of similar prices here in Korea, and sometimes like you could even eat for cheaper than have coffee and a dessert. You know, in Korea, when you sit down, usually it's really polite to take utensils and give it to everyone at the table. So when I went to Lithuania and I met my friend from university, and we went to a restaurant together, we ordered some food and baby brought in our utensils. So I took my fork and also like took hers and gave it to her. And she was like, "Why are you touching my fork?" It's like, "Oh, it's just polite to serve your utensils to you." And she was like, no, it's your gems, and like I don't want your gems to be on my fork. But I washed my hands. But it was such a reverse cultural shock. I was like, okay, I guess I'm a weirdo now in my country. So number 4 is also related to eating out, and it's tipping culture. So this one is probably the most obvious one because you tip in Lithuania. It's not included into your bill like it's included in the United States, but you just would tip like something you think is appropriate amount. But it was not natural for me after staying in Korea for such a long time, because I was like, okay, so if we spent like 10 euros, how much should we leave? Should we leave 1 euro? Should we leave more? I was so confused about it because you just simply don't tip in Korea. Now it's like coming up little by little, like some cafes would have like small jars for tips and stuff, but it's not common and people don't really do this because in Korea people are more like, oh, I get paid for my job and my salary is enough. But then in Lithuania, when I went back, I was like, how much do I leave? I feel like in some places I left too much. I definitely left too much, but I just didn't know how much to leave. So I'm like, yeah, here it goes. Number 5. Cleavage. Okay, y'all, why are your treasures sticking out? This is what I was thinking every day in Lithuania. I feel like it's similar in most of the Western world, but especially this summer, like I tried to go shopping for clothing and everything had cleavage to my belly button. Like if you're interested in Korea, you probably already know this, but in Korea you shouldn't show your cleavage, and then you shouldn't really show your shoulders that much, but then you can wear really short skirts or really short shorts, and that's fine. But on the other side, in Lithuania, oh, look at that girl, she's wearing a belt instead of a skirt. We're like, oh, why your ass is sticking out? So like you shouldn't wear really short skirts. In Korea, it's normal, like short skirts is nothing, and they even have those like undershorts, safety shorts. But then for the cleavage, even this, like the thing I'm wearing right now, I feel like it would be too much to go to the street in Korea, even though like I'm not showing anything, but still like they would be like, oh, your cleavage is too big and like you're showing too much skin. But then like, what about my legs? Yeah, so but still it was so shocking because I tried to go shopping, so I was like, no, I will just shop back in Korea. Okay, and the last one on the list, number 6, is safety. So both Korea and Lithuania are quite similar countries, and they are similarly safe too, but still there are some differences. For example, in Korea, when you go to a coffee shop, you would just put your bags or your phone on the table and you would just go and order. And this is what I did in Lithuania too. Like I went back in summer and I would just like put my stuff and go to order. But my friends were like, I'm going to keep your stuff while you're ordering and I will order next. I was like, girl, we're in the cafe, nothing's going to happen, let's just go and order. But my friend was telling me like, no, some people would like steal it through a window, but it has never happened to me. So I always tell people like, oh, Lithuania is very safe, but petty crimes are more common than in Korea, because in Korea, like if there's CCTV, like CCTV is everywhere. But in Lithuania, if you left it, like you left it, someone found it and someone sold it, you know. I feel like Lithuania is quite safe and people would not really rob you unless you're going to a sketchy street in the middle of the night. But if you would leave your stuff unattended, you might not find it. So that was a reverse culture shock because I got so used to like leaving my laptop in the cafe, going to a bathroom like and stuff like this. So yeah, it was kind of difficult. So even though I'm still telling people like, oh, it's really hard for me to adjust culturally in Korea, to other people, like on the other side, I also tell people like, oh, actually Korea and Lithuania are quite similar, and like it's not that hard to adjust, but there are still cultural differences and you can feel them. But this is what's beautiful. Even though I'm Lithuanian, some of the things I do the Lithuanian way and some of the things I do the Korean way because it's just who I am. So yeah, that's all for the cultural differences. I don't know, maybe I will remember more when talking with Q. So now let's see Q's perspective. 오빠, 오세요! 오늘 내가 찍은 영상이가 리투아니아랑 한국이 문화 차이인데 약간 문화 충격 그런 거? 내가 한국 왔을 때 문화 충격 그런 거 없었었는데 근데 한국에서 살다가 이제 거의 4년 됐잖아. 4년 뒤에 리투아니아 가면 주위 반대편 문화 충격 받았어요. 그래서 내가 그런 일이 있었었는데 오빠는 혹시 리투아니아 갔을 때 문화 충격이나 이런 거 있었어요?
약간 난 지금 생각하면 마지막 날 제일 기억나는 이벤트 있었어.
어떤 거?
택시.
아 택시. 아 맞네.
택시. 나 진짜 한국이었다면 난 욕했을 수도 있어. 진짜. 어떻게 된 거냐면 마지막 날 우리는 이제 공항 가려고 오저스에서 택시 그냥 있길래 탔는데 그래서 이렇게 에어포트 공항 가달라 그렇게 말했는데 오케이 그래서 가는데 우리 얼마나 왔지?
40유로. 그거도 리투아니아에서 택시 부르면 더 사요. 부르면 더 싸고 서 있는 택시면 절대 타면 안 돼요. 그래서 나 오빠한테 아니 그냥 부르자. 오빠 아니 그냥 타면 되잖아. 어차피 마지막 날이야. 그래서 오케이 타봐. 한번 배울 수 있어. 타봤지. 어땠어?
나는 잘못 들은 줄 알았어. 4유로? 근데 40유로였어.
근데 진짜 물으면 10유로도 안 나올 거예요. 왜냐면 밀리노스도 수도지만 이렇게 막 큰 도시 아니잖아요. 그래서 거기 공항까지 뭐 15km 정도? 그거밖에 안 되는데 아마 10유로밖에 안 될걸. 근데 오빠가 아니 그냥 가자. 그냥 부르는 게 그 카카오 택시처럼 이런 애플이 있어서 그냥 그 애플 그냥 부를까? 아니 있으니까 그냥 여기 차도 끄고 왜냐면 우리 집 많았으니까 차도 끄니까 그냥 타보자. 그래서 타봤네?
아니 근데 조금 이해 안 해. 왜냐하면 아니 택시면 타자마자 이제 그냥 이제 미터 그 키는 거고 원래 한국은 서 있는 택시 그냥 타면 똑같아. 뭐 서 있는 택시랑 부르는 택시랑 가격 부르는 게 더 비쌀 수 있지. 한국에서 더 싼 택시 없어. 뭐야 이거? 대체 어떻게 그냥 타는 게 왜 더 비싼지. 왜냐하면 그냥 탄다면 기사 아저씨가 하는 어플이든 뭐든 귀찮은 거 아무것도 없이 그냥 사람이 타주니까 고마운 거야. 근데 왜 돈 더 많이 받아? 뭐야 이거?
그거 말 듣는데 리투아니아에서 예전부터 그랬어.
그래서 다음부턴 리투아니아 간다면 꼭 어플 앱 이용하세요.
내 말 들어야지.
어쨌든 그렇게 한 것 같고 지금 갑자기 생각나는 거는 특이하긴 없어. 어쨌든 난 택시가 제일 난 충격이었어. 그래서 한국 택시와 완전 좋은 거구나 느꼈어요.
이렇게 그냥 짧게 오늘은 좀 반대편 문화 충격 그리고 이제 문화 차이 얘기했어요. 왜냐면 우리는 어쨌든 오빠 한국인이고 내가 리투아니아 사람인데 문화 차이 당연히 있을 거 아니야. 근데 우리 이때까지 영상에서 한 번도 얘기해본 적이 없지. 그냥 다른 얘기 하다가 조금 가끔씩 키워놓는 거 있었지만 근데 이렇게 특별히 찍어본 적 없어서 그냥 이번에 그냥 편하게 한번 찍어봤어요. 그래서 이 영상 좋았다면 좋아요 눌러주고
구독하기도 한번 해주세요.
안녕.